played a leading role in the resistance. Sheila McVicker, who is in Kuwait City tonight, has the story of the brave women and the price some of them paid.
A people terrorized but not defeated celebrate their new freedom. Kuwaitis credit their own strength, their own resistance with holding this country together. Sarah.
She was basically working for the resistance of Kuwait, in charge of distributing financial support.
Professor Hashim Bahani was a member of the same resistance group. How old was she?
She was 23 years old.
At first she was kept separately. They were interrogating her. Exactly a week after they caught her, they brought her into us.
Makia and Asrar were in jail together for more than 2 months. Makia says a friendly Iraqi officer obtained her release. Asrar was marked for execution. What happened to her?
She didn't say anything, so they raped her. And after that, they tortured her, and she didn't say anything. Then they raped her again, and she didn't say anything.
Spoke to us by telephone last September 7th on Nightline. It was a 31-year-old woman, and she was risking her life so that the world would know what the Iraqis were doing to her country.
Oh, I just want you to know that they are ripping everything apart in Kuwait, taking it to Baghdad. We don't have any guns. We don't have any arms. A lot of them, they have been killed, and the ones that they captured, they just, you know, they've been taking them, torturing them, and they have been killing them.
We now have reason to believe that that Kuwaiti resistance member was herself captured, tortured, and then killed by the Iraqis. Joining us live from Kuwait City is a Kuwaiti doctor. He has asked that his identity remain a secret. He was a member of the resistance who can shed some light on the circumstances of her death. Doctor, can you hear me all right?
Yes, yes I can do. Go ahead then.
What can you tell me about that woman? What did happen to her and when?
This is the voice of the woman you've been talking about. She worked from day one in Kuwait. She was doing all the kinds of work in Kuwait was being done by the resistance, by the government, taking care of people, helping people with food, money, guns for the resistance, moving around, doing special IDs for the policemen in Kuwait because they couldn't move around. And they took her almost 2.5 months ago because they, in a way, I don't know how they knew it, but they knew that her name. And they took her for almost a month in their jails, and they tortured her and they threw her in front of her uncle's house. The scene was terrible. Actually, her scene was the worst I've seen all through the last 6.5 months. If you want a description, I could describe it to you, but she had 3 bullets in the chest, and her head was beaten by an axe and cut into 2 halves, or into, let's say, 3 halves, you can say. It was a terrible scene.
Well, it's just good to be home with everybody, I'll tell you for sure. This Thanksgiving, I give thanks because we did get out, because our families were waiting for us, and we're going to spend this July visiting my son Don and his wife Maria, and we just happened to be caught in the invasion. The morning of the 2nd, we got the video camera out. We stood up there in the window watching these soldiers comb the neighborhood for Westerners. The women were allowed to leave the 7th day of September, and we followed their trip home, listening over VOA.
It was mixed emotions. Leaving my husband, not knowing whether we'd ever see him again or hear from him again, or, you know, it was just really hard. I cried.
They are ripping everything apart in Kuwait, taking it to Baghdad.
One resistant people that we all love very dearly, her name was Asrar, and she kept us in touch with the outside world. And she came over on October 28th and brought us some candy and some groceries, and we never seen her again. The Kuwaiti people, once they started bringing food, there was no turning it off. It was just a pipeline.
Relief to have him home. All the friends and family and fraternal clubs were there to greet him.
After I got home, I was watching the news one night, and Nightline came on.
We now have reason to believe that that Kuwaiti resistance member was herself captured, tortured, and then killed by the Iraqis.
I watched, and I cried. And even though it hurts, every once in a while you like to run the tape and see her. I appreciate my freedom now. I try to impress that onto people. I was with the rest of the whole bunch in this country that take their freedom for granted. You never know what it is until you lose it.